Hello and welcome to Diva Blue Interviews. I'm Gabrielle Owens, and this week we'll be continuing our interview with Chris O'Brien, media and voiceover consultant for Who Did That Media in Washington, D.C. So, let's roll the tape. Back to Jackson Pollock a moment. One in particular, he was drinking and he dropped the bottle and it broke. He ended up stepping on it because he painted in his bare feet. So that canvas has got blood and everything else on it. And it's just like, this is really brutal. You know?
Yeah.
But it's good.
You just made me think of it, and when you said that, talking about brutal, there's another painting, which I really love. It's called Guernica. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people see that painting and they go, oh my God, that's the most depressing thing and scary, gross thing I've ever seen. But then, I look at it and I'm like, God, there's so much to see in that. And I think, honestly, when people talk about, I just read this article where the Secretary of Education of the United Kingdom said that students need to do less creative arts and more academics like science and math. I just can't believe that she could be even more wrong than she is, because honestly, that whole process of being able to look at a painting like Guernica and have an emotional, visceral response from it, that comes from teachers in an early age inspiring me to look at something and interpret it, and you're not giving your kids that.
So what do you see as the role of visual arts in society?
I think we're actually going through this whole renaissance of creativity, of visual arts and audio arts in the world, and I think the role of that is it kind of raises the bar in my profession anyway.
What do you think of comic book art?
I mean, I'm not a big comic book consumer, but I admire the work because somebody who's a comic book animator has to be extremely busy because they're putting out a lot of work. And I think it's really cool because the use of the bright colors on the heroes and the use of the dark colors on the bad guys get young minds thinking that light is good and dark is bad, and that's kind of the way you form the art mind. So yeah, I really think animation is cool, and I think comic books are cool.
Okay, well, I want to go back just a minute to how music and visuals in media can change the way we perceive things emotionally.
I explained it to my wife this way one time. You can feel the mood of a song, not based on the lyrics, although that's very helpful, but if you listen to the music, and a perfect example, there's two examples I can give you, and they're both Beatles songs. George Harrison, Here Comes the Sun. If you listen to that song without the lyrics whatsoever, the imagery that you're going to get, because it builds from a very gentle, sunrise, if you will, to a powerful, happy celebration of light. And that's just the music talking. And then when the lyrics come in, they just reinforce that music, so you get that visual there. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got McCartney doing Yesterday. And if you listen to that, Yesterday, it goes from the major to the minor, where it's da-da-da-da-da. So it kind of gives you that reflective, you're like, oh, it's splits, he's going to bring it down a little bit. And so it really, that song can be a love song, it could be a reflective piece, which it was. And honestly, Gabby, talking to creative people is like trying to herd cats. I realize that, but it's interesting how we translate visual media to sound. What we need to do from a very early age is teach that ability to our children so they can become more analytical about influences in their life other than just, math and science. That really, I think, is what we're seeing happening with all these kids who are becoming so unbelievably creative with the internet tools and the tools of computers and editing. And, you see these 12-year-old kids making these masterpieces of CGI and song mixes and overdubs, and you're just blown away by what they can do.
We've got time for one more question. What do you think of today's media?
Like I said early on, I think the creative process is a really cool process, and it's a passion. It can be your greatest enemy, but when I was in school, I remember them saying that every day, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're exposed to 100,000 commercial impressions. And now, if you would take that same philosophy of what we're exposed to in the visual arts and the audio arts, those impressions would be in the millions. and the impression can either be conscious or subconscious.
Well, that wraps up part 2 of our interview with Chris O'Brien of Who Did That Media in Washington, D.C. I'm Gabrielle Owens, and you've been listening to Diva Blue Interviews.